Hello. What's up, everybody? Adam Pecora here, and this is Requiem for a Tuesday. Got a fun little episode for y'all today. Unfortunately, Chef Juice could not be here. So go check out Microwave Minutes. The season has started. Will it finish? Maybe. Go subscribe to that. After you subscribe to this, rate, review Requiem for a Tuesday, Apple, Spotify, share it. Get those numbies up for us. It helps us out a lot whenever somebody does any of those little impressionistic things. You know, little heart here, little 5-star there. You know, little share the link there. Next thing you know, boom, we got a 7,000 download episode. I wish. Wouldn't it be nice? The merch, rfat.bigcartel.com. We got music, multiplex, Wolfx, all linked below. And again, Justice's show, Microwave Minutes, is out now. So active promos for that. Go watch his show on YouTube. Much better visually, in my opinion, especially with the food eating element. But that's just me. If you want to listen, feel free. The audio quality's excellent, so you can't go wrong. Much like with RFAT, I listened back to the last episode. I gotta say, I think the garage band's gonna work out okay, just as I had hoped. The hardware's doing most of the heavy lifting here. So yeah, check everything out. Linked below. Give us a rate. Give us a share. Thank you very much. If you really want to go the extra mile, play some episodes with no sound on. Doesn't affect you. And, if you're at work or something and you're not listening to it, put it on silent. Be a psycho and help me out. All right. Well, first things first. So I was going to get into one Netflix original, as you saw, Jerry Seinfeld's Unfrosted. But a little birdie over the weekend, all of a sudden, it's like the roast of Tom Brady live on Sunday. And it's like, wait, what? And then you look it up. It's like, oh, yeah, that's a real thing. Now, I'm not a Netflix user. We have Netflix in one room in the house, the living room, which, checks out. But I don't have it in my privacy. Point being, I don't open it up as much anymore. It's hard to, I check the new thing once or twice a month, see what's new. But I'm not getting the constant spam of whatever they're trying to promote or what's upcoming or, what's super trending on there at any given moment. So maybe it was all within Netflix the whole time. But point is, I had no idea. I'd seen some other people say the same thing. When I asked people if they were watching it or if they did watch it after the fact, everyone's like, no, didn't even know it was happening. So it didn't appear to just be me. But either way, it was excellent, is my point as to why weren't you telling more people about this, Netflix? It was broadcast live, which they've been doing a little bit more frequently. Kind of just odd, how everything is just working around in a cycle to just become... Hulu just has a cable package now. YouTube has a cable package now. Maybe was that their plan all along, or did everybody finally just realize that, streaming kind of sucks? I don't know. Now, the fact that it's instantly available right after also, is nice. And now it is just a streaming thing, but it's like, why not have it live, create a moment, make it an event? I don't disagree with this. Dave Chang does a live cooking show weekly. It's all right. But point is, they're getting into it a little more. Hulu's airing sports, obviously, since it's Disney, ESPN. Max is getting into live sports, which, hey, I'm all for more live sports on services that I already have access to. That's great for me. Being able to watch hockey on ESPN Plus has been fucking incredible. Anywho, not a lot of comments on the roast. Go watch the roast. It was fucking hilarious. I've always loved a good roast. The Comedy Central ones, when they happened annually for a good 6-7 years strong, they had them going, I feel like. That was an excellent era. That was a formative point in time for me. So love a good roast. So I assume that this was very successful for them. Belichick was excellent. He is a great personality. He was great on the draft with McAfee. The fact that he would even go on McAfee, which is in itself like a comedy show, he didn't want to be on. Well, I don't know. I don't know if he was offered either. But the standard broadcast wasn't the place for him. I like that he's doing humorous things in the very rare occurrences where he gets to just show off he does have a personality. It is there. He just doesn't show it when he's playing football because he's that fucking psychotic with strategery. Getting presidential with my vocabulary. It's an election year. Anyway, the roast was excellent. Everybody was pretty good. They booed the fuck out of Kim Kardashian, which, whatever. Dana White kind of got shit on pretty hard, and I don't think he was ready for it. But go watch it. That was great. Just wanted to throw that out there. Shout out to Tom Brady. Truly the greatest. Old guys are still mad. I can confirm that old guys still try to claim other guys. And that's silly. That's silly. He has more rings than Michael Jordan. But those same old guys would claim that Michael Jordan is the best, which he is. I'm not trying to say that he's not. Not crazy. But that's my point, is like, you're just a stubborn old guy. That's fine. That's fine. We don't have to say ever. Just say your favorite. Say the best of your time. That's true. That's the thing. If you truly think ever, it's like ever means ever until something new happens. So something new happened, Was the greatest player ever, Joe Montana. Who are we kidding? Come on now. 4 Super Bowls? Not enough. Sorry. You can't have so close to half as many titles as somebody and try to claim that you're better. Doesn't even make any sense. Anyway, let's talk about Unfrosted. I thought that this would be more interesting, frankly. I don't have a lot to say because it was just kind of dull and boring. Leading up to it, I was like, oh, this could be interesting. Jerry Seinfeld, obviously, a big cereal guy. So, he loves cereal. He's a comedian. He said the movie's going to be pretty silly. Let's watch a fun, silly movie. I'm not a guy who hates B-movie by any stretch of the imagination. I don't understand why there is like a cult unfollowing of B-movie where you have to act like it's some like abomination. It's a fine movie. It's like it's better than Ants, but Ants is good. It's an adult Jewy comedy that's an animated movie for children for some reason, and that's great. I love that. It's like a Rango Pixar, not of quality, but of like type. Where it's like, I wouldn't show this to like a 4-year-old and hope that it even grabs their interest because it's not like this visual journey. But, solid. Solid. It's a Shrek-level movie. The first Shrek's pretty good, but it's that type. It's not It's not this massive work of art, but it's fun and it's good for kids and adults don't mind. It's B movie. It's good. There's some meta stuff in there that I like. And, it's if Jerry Seinfeld wrote a movie. I mean, what do you want? That's why I akin it to Ants, because that's such a Woody Allen movie. Anyway, this is not that. Unfrosted is not that. This movie was pretty bad. I mean, it's fun and light and an easy watch. It's not this, again, not an abomination, but I wouldn't necessarily call it good. It's about as mid of a movie as a movie can be. So that's kind of why I don't really have anything to say. This movie tells a fictionalized account of the invention of the Pop-Tart by the rival Kellogg and Post brands in the 60s. There's good stuff in it. Bill Burr is in it briefly as JFK. Excellent. The movie, so at the beginning, they're kind of introing a lot of stuff. I don't feel like there's a whole lot is really being explained or displayed, and it's just kind of a jumbled, disjointed mess at the start where they're kind of trying to give you a bunch of info, but instead you're just kind of not really sure what's going on. I also was like, I'm going to get super baked and watch the new Seinfeld movie about Pop-Tarts, because everything I just said sounds like that lines up. It didn't, again, because the movie, it's just like a light family comedy. And so, not a ton of laughs up front, and I just wasn't sure what was going on. So that could have been on me. Not a lot of great shots either. I just think, just because Seinfeld was very experienced, maybe he wasn't ready to direct the movie. Maybe could have used a stronger AD at the very least. So the direction a little light at the beginning. I didn't really know what was being set up, but the movie eventually finds its legs in getting ridiculous. And then it's a lot more clear what's going on. But the first 15 minutes were just kind of jumbled for me. But it essentially is setting up, it's Post versus Kellogg's, and they're both kind of trying to spy on each other. And it's happening alongside the space race, which they also refer to. And so it's kind of like that. It's like an arms race back and forth with spies and whoever. And then the milk industry is also upset because the Pop-Tarts are a thing. There won't be as much cereal sold, so they're upset. And then the mascots are also doing their own thing, the cereal mascots, because they're not paid enough and they want, they're worried that they're going to lose out on gigs because of the Pop-Tart and all this stuff. And it leads to, there's all these conspiracy things happening, and the milk guys are the CIA. And the mascots are insurrectionists, and so they have a January 6th type of riot on the Kellogg building. And I don't think it's meant to. It's all very lighthearted in all this. It's not political in any way. It's just silly. It's like if a Mad TV sketch were a full-length movie. I actually weirdly think this would have been better, honestly, as just a 6-episode mini-series. Because oddly, it's a lot jumbled in, but because it's choppy, a lot of it is almost disconnected. And then it's all it all happens but then it happens very quick, but because it's disconnected, it feels like it's long just because you're trying to piece things together. It's kind of hard to explain. It's about a 100-minute movie. Feels like it's over 2 hours, to be honest, because of the long intro. So I don't know. I don't know. Just kind of rough, to be honest. I'd say watch it if you're remotely interested in Jerry Seinfeld or the series Seinfeld. Like, if you're a fan of the guy, watch it. You won't mind it. If you're just looking for like a funny movie to watch, this is not it. That's all I'm going to say. But if you've read like the backlash from this movie, the harsh negative reviews about it being like unwatchable and terrible. Speaking of which, one of those reviews is like, it's not as unwatchable as B movie, but it's terrible. It's like, well, B movie's definitely better than this. Listen to what I just said a couple minutes ago. So it's just, that's clearly just hater energy. There's a lot of just hater energy. Because Seinfeld has been on like a ridiculous press tour to promote the movie, and he's basically just been super honest in all of them. He's like, yeah, movies are dead. I can't believe they let me make one. Like, they don't seem to realize the industry's falling apart. He's right. I mean, theaters movies are kind of back so far, but from an abysmal couple years. So that's not as promising. Movies aren't necessarily back. They're upward trending, but still way down. So he was right. And then he was like, yeah, comedies are terrible. Comedy movies don't happen. Comedy shows are unwatchable on a network level at the very least. They're also like, what comedies are you watching? Like, it's just correct info, and people are just really upset. Now, some people are more upset that he specifically said that it's because of like wokeness and whatever, but he's right. I mean, that's the reason. It's all about not like trying to be funny while not being offensive and not. But it's not even about being offensive. That's the thing. It's like, to truly be offensive, you have to say something crazy. But that is now turned into any joke about anything that anyone has any feelings about. You know, and that really is a real thing that people have put pressure on. And it's just not a thing that networks can deal with. Whatever, you get the whole thing. But it's correct. And so all of these reviews are clearly just lashing out that they're mad. It's just embarrassing. I don't know. The state of media is not even media. The state of journalism is really just embarrassing. It's pretty much just whining. And if it's not whining, it's just being angry about, you know, like no matter what, there's just not a lot of objectivity. Everyone is just like, I am the king of opinions and how I feel is what's important. But it's like not, you know. I hate when reviews come off as emotional. That's just not what I'm looking for. Like, unless the thing was truly so bad that it fired you up, then sure, of course, let it fly. But to just be like, I didn't like this because it wasn't how I wanted it. Like, I don't know. You get what I'm saying. Not a fan of that. But, you know, again, it wasn't very good. So it didn't deserve glowing reviews, but the polarizing nature of the reviews is insane because just a basic general like family comedy, just run-of-the-mill average movie in every way. The fact that you could have that strong of a reaction is just false. Just completely false. Anyway, upkeeping in the food theme of the episode, I wanted to revisit Sausage Party because Seth Rogen announced there's going to be a television series version of this, which I fully support. Big fan of Sausage Party. And it's coming out this summer, July or August, I can't remember, on Amazon. I 100% will be watching. I believe the entire main cast is coming back, which is great. And I just thought, what the hell? We're eating. We got a couple animated food movies to talk about now. So let's just do it. And, you know, it's quick. This movie's 90 fucking minutes. And I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of thoughts. It's basically exactly as I remember. I had the order mixed up quite a little bit of how things go, but essentially it's about a grocery store's worth of food that is anthropomorphized, and they come to life whenever the store is closed or when people aren't looking. You know, Toy Story, but with the grocery store. Which is also technically what Food Fight is supposed to be, but boy, we'll get there. And they're all under the impression that, you know, their purpose in life is to be bought, and humans are the best, and they save them, and they go live in harmony whenever they get bought, whatever. A bunch of chain of events happen that lead to the discovery that is not what happened, and people are evil, and they just get cut up and murdered, and they all die gruesome, brutal deaths as soon as they're brought home. And it's effectively like a religious thing for all the food, so there's like counter beliefs and all these groups and all this stuff that happens. And, you know, just fun, crude, R-rated comedy. You know, it's a regular same type of thing as I was talking about. With like Seinfeld being a Seinfeld thing, like that's what it's going to be, how B-movie is. This is that. It's a Seth Rogen movie, just happens to be animated because it's about food. They kind of just bullshit and dick around and say dumb shit, and it's a good time. It's obviously less funny than I remember. I don't know if it didn't age well or if I'm just not, 16 or however old I was when that shit came out. Not that young. I think it was 2016, so I was probably like 2021. Whatever. It's still great, still fun. It's a quick one. There's a great scene in which they do like a flashback thing, and it's filmed or animated, in like the Let's All Go to the Lobby style. I think it would be fun if the show were kind of like that, a little 2D animation, but whatever. It's not, from what I gather. Should be fun though. That was always my thing when I was a kid. I would always just draw little foods with little faces, and I just thought it was the funniest fucking thing ever. I don't know what it was. So it was like kind of exactly what I was looking for in an adult animated comedy. But I'll be watching the show. That's really all I have to say. Again, just not a whole lot there for the movie. Not a whole lot of moments that ring a bell where it's like we gotta talk about this. Just a solid. Now that's a good one to, smoke a fatty, get real blasted, just hang out and watch that shit. Real good performances throughout the whole thing. Nick Kroll is the evil douche who plays the villain of the thing. It truly is just like an adult Toy Story. They kind of just nailed it. Everybody's excellent. And of course the famous orgy at the end. Edward Norton, Sammy Bagel Jr. I mean, that's just $1 million stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Edward Norton will be back for the series, but that would be fucking sick. And, who knows what they'll do? Maybe they'll just introduce more characters and there'll be more shenanigans. I don't really know. But I'm excited to find out. Shout out Sausage Party. And then last but not least, I just want to get into the animated film Food Fight. If you're not familiar with the movie Food Fight, this movie was an animated movie in the works for about 6, 7, 8 years or something. This producer got the funding, star-studded cast. It was essentially supposed to be Toy Story for food. It was going to feature all these brands, like intermixed. If you've ever seen, if you probably haven't, go look on YouTube. Logo Rama. It's a French short film. It won the Oscar for Best Animated Short, whatever year it came out. This is essentially what Food Fight should have been or was supposed to be or whatever. And that's much better in every way. And I love Logo Rama. It's excellent. It's everything Footfight wished it could be. Anyway, this dude basically had this vision where he's like, I'm going to create my own Pixar, so we're not going to outsource the animation despite having all the funding for this. And so it went on forever and ever and ever, and it got released with the worst fucking animation quality you've ever seen in your life. I mean, this movie looks like it's a PC video game from like Windows 98 at best. Like, the cutscenes of like Crazy Taxi is like the animation quality of this entire fucking movie. It's completely unwatchable. It somehow took all this time and all this money and then never came out, obviously because of how it looks. I mean, you just can't release it. It came out on DVD only, snagged a copy, of course, which I didn't know about. It came out on DVD like 15 years after it was actually somewhat released somewhere. And I just don't understand how things like this can happen in modern day. Just a complete utter disaster. The fact that it has like a complete A-list of celebrities, like I can't even name off how many there are because there are so many, but I will give a quick overview of what we're talking about here. It's like, to me, this is just like clearly money laundering. Like there should be a documentary about this movie that explains what the fuck happened. It came out in 2012, and the poster makes it look like it's going to be like a DreamWorks style regular animated movie. Complete lie. So came out in 2012, was under production starting in 1997, and just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And I think it eventually was just like a 5 cent on the dollar pickup from somebody somewhere, and they spent like a little bit more to finish it up, and that was it. So we got Charlie Sheen, Wayne Brady, Hilary Duff, Eva Longoria, Larry Miller, Christopher Lloyd, Chris Kattan, Ed Asner, Jerry Stiller, Haley Duff. Look at that. And that's about it. Pretty star-studded cast, especially given the time at which it was recorded, you know, which had to have been in the early 2000s. They also claim that in 2002, most of it was stolen, and they were unable to find out how it was stolen or not, and there's no record of how it got stolen or that it was stolen, but it just disappeared, so they claim. So that doesn't make any fucking sense. They either fucking deleted it by accident or people were really out to get them, as they claim. But I really think it's just complete incompetence is probably the real truth. Like, it wasn't embezzled necessarily, like it technically probably was, you know what I mean? But it wasn't stolen. This wasn't some elaborate act by like DreamWorks or Pixar's to get these people. And whatever, they somehow kept working on it or started from scratch, and then eventually it was auctioned and got released as the piece of shit that you can watch. The plot is completely incoherent, but essentially it's like the grocery store at night turns into like a full city, whatever. He's some fake, Charlie Sheen is some fake serial dog detective, and all of a sudden there's this brand that moves in called Brand X, and it's supposed to be this like noir fucking like detective thing where they're trying to find out what this brand is, and then there's also a kidnapping with his girlfriend, and then it turns out that the other brand is like literally Nazis, and they start like taking over the whole thing. And then it becomes about fighting fucking Nazis, like pretty literally. Like they have like Nazi imagery, and they march and they heil, and it's really alarming. And the animation is so off-putting and ugly, and there's a ton of just like sexual comments as well throughout the whole thing, like a super like adult level sexual. And it's just confused. The movie has no plot that makes any sense. It's not entertaining for a second. Like, even if you were to just listen to it, it's like The Room in how choppy and dog shit just everything is across the board the whole way. Like, truly astonishing. Just unwatchably, shockingly bad. Like, it's really like legendarily horrible. I'm trying to see here. Can you watch the movie on YouTube for free? You can. Okay? So you don't have, I bought it because I love collecting horrible movies. I also own Tiptoes, which I don't know if I've done on this show. Maybe we could do that in a future episode. It is by Film Fanatic Collection. It was uploaded 1 month ago, so maybe I'm spoiling that for everybody. I'm not sure. You can at least watch the trailer. So whatever you want to do with that, like, go check some of it out. It really is just absolutely terrible. You can even rent it for $1.99 as low on YouTube. So there's options for you to check it out. It is just the worst thing imaginable. But yeah, constant innuendos, constant just horrible Nazi references. Wayne Brady's character has a lot of like token black jokes at him and that he says that are horrible. Really just like a monstrosity of a film that you should not show a child. I think seeing it would scare the fuck out of them. And just I'm not a not appropriate guy really, but just like glaring stuff. I didn't write down any examples. My jaw was on the floor. Again, it's also such nonsense that like none of it I don't want to say grips you like a movie like this ever would either way, but you can't even tell what's going on at any point in time because from scene to scene, it is just such fucking chaos. But like, there's just no value. I'm sorry. I'm at a loss for words. I was at the time as well. The sheer number of just horrible jokes, off-timed things. It's like they'd never seen a movie before. It's like AI made the whole thing from front to back off of like a really short prompt. I'm sure everyone involved has disowned it. I doubt that any of them have ever spoken about it publicly in any capacity. Again, I would love it if they would. If any production disaster is worthy of a documentary, it's this. I just don't know if the info will ever come out. It just seems like whatever the truth is, which it should. I mean, millions and millions of dollars essentially vanished because this thing is worth 40 grand. Like if one dude did this on his own with like old PC software, it would still like that's the only way you could maybe somewhat be impressed by any of it or think that it was worth any amount of time or labor. I mean, this is just a complete joke of a product that I want answers. So if anybody wants to work on the Footfight documentary, please do. I want to say there was even like 9/11 jokes in there. And all of it's flat. Like you're not going to laugh with it at anything throughout it. It's not one of those redeemable, like so bad it's good. It's just really shockingly that terrible. So go check out Footfight on YouTube and you guys let me know what you think. rfatpodcast@gmail.com. I think that's it. Kind of breezed through this week. Like I said, a little lighthearted, food-filled fun episode. Food-filled fun. FFF. So rate, review, and subscribe to Requiem for a Tuesday. Leave a comment. Give us a 5-star. Give us a thumbs up. Do the thing. YouTube, subscribe, whatever. Check it out. All in the links below. Merch, rfat.bigcartel.com. You heard it at the top. Listen to Microwave Minutes. Check out all those links. Do all that stuff. Share the episode. Let's get the numbers up. That's what we need, ladies and gentlemen. You've all been great. And remember, I are fat. You are fat. We are fat. Talk to you next week. Calculator.